Hey, what's going on? It's the Bearded One back at you again, new video. Hey, so in today's video, we're gonna allow our preferred lender, Miss Shauna, to ask me questions about what's going on in the market. And so you guys definitely don't want to miss out on this, all right? So stay tuned. All right, so let's get into today's video. We've already said Shauna's gonna ask me questions. Not really sure what these questions are. To be honest with you all, we just came up with this on the fly. And I have no idea what these questions are. So I'm really looking forward to see what they are. So let's talk. What question do you have? What's the first question?
I want to ask, what are you seeing in the market in Jacksonville these days?
Ah, man. So what am I seeing right now? I'm seeing homes sit on the market a little bit longer than normal. And when I mean normal is because we were used to, as realtors, a week, 2 weeks, during the pandemic, 12 hours. Like you put on the market in the morning, it already sold by the evening.
Yeah.
And as time has went on, homes have kind of like started to stay on the market a little bit longer. But now, I have a couple listings right now and we're passing the 30, 40-day mark. So that's the biggest thing that we're seeing in the market right now. Homes are sitting on the market a lot longer than normal, which I feel is a great thing because as you mentioned in another video we did, this will be the best time to buy a house.
Yeah.
Just because not too many people are in the market right now because they're afraid of the interest rates.
Right.
And so if you can buy a house now, you can really get the house that you really, really want. And then you can refinance that house. Like we talked about before, marry the house, date the rate.
Right.
So it would really be beneficial if you wanted to buy a house now, buy that house now. Don't wait because once that competition comes back into play, you're gonna be like we were before. Really quick story, I had a house on the market during the pandemic. I think we had close to 20 offers in one day.
Wow.
20 offers. So that kind of gives you an idea.
20 offers, yeah.
20 offers in one day. And I was just like, I was like a chick with my head cut off trying to figure out, okay, which one's which. And so now it's like, we're trying to get an offer. We can't even, it's taking a lot longer to get an offer. So it's kind of a little bit 180 turn from what it was before.
So what type of conversations are you having with your sellers that are really maybe frustrated that their home hasn't started out because the market is a little slower and interest rates a little higher?
Well, for me, I'm having those real, honest, open conversations because, things have changed, but certain things about the house may not be beneficial of what potential buyers may want.
Right.
So I'm just having those conversations because as buyers show the property, we'll get a feedback from them. The majority of the time, it's usually the price, the condition of the home, maybe the location, and the yard also plays a part in it too because, before, back in the day, yards didn't really matter. But now a lot of the basic things are coming back. Curb appeal, how the house looks, pressure wise, driveways, those types of things coming into play now because buyers they're realizing that, oh, well, damn, if I got to pay this interest rate, I want the best of the best. Absolutely.
How important is being open and transparent in communication and like with your buyers and sellers in this time? Like how important is it?
It's very important because
in general, but
it's very important because they have, and I'll tell you, a lot of people have not realized that the market has changed significantly and they're asking for a mortgage payment that 4 or 5 years ago would have gotten them a decent, very nice house. Nowadays, it's not the case anymore. So I'm having those conversations like, okay, hey, I know you want to keep your payment at $1,500, $1,700. That sounds great, but if you want to get this house over here, you're gonna need to bump that mortgage payment up some because prices have changed. Average house price in Jacksonville now is $360.
Yeah.
So,
really?
360, and you think, 4 or 5 years ago, it was probably like, I don't know, 275, 285.
It's still nice here, guys.
Yeah, it's still nice, but hey, you gotta look at it this way. If you look at other cities in Florida, like Miami, the market price there is like $500-$600. Average house price. Tampa's the same. It's pretty high. So people are wanting to come to a place where the affordability is a little bit more and still stay in the state of Florida because we don't have any income tax, state income tax here.
And do you see a lot of first-time buyers, second-time buyers, investors? What do you see a lot of majority? I know it's a mix, but like
it's a mix. I see a lot of investors. I'm seeing a lot of first-time home buyers as well, just because I think nowadays the younger buyer, the 20 to 30-year-old, they're a lot more savvy and know what's going on in the market because they're researching, they're doing their homework, and they're kind of like they've grown up through the internet, so they really are on the internet doing their research and doing their due diligence to say, okay, here's what I can afford, here's what I want, here's what I'm looking for, and so those people are in the market. But then you still got those investors who are like, hey, I can make this go away and take this pain away and buy this house from you because I mean, let's be honest, it's still Florida, so people want to live here and people looking to invest here. So
what do you say to the younger generation, I guess, or the first-time home buyers that is like rent versus buy? Should I rent? Should I buy? I want my payment, but I don't want this and that. Like, what do you say to those?
I would say to this, like I told my daughter who now owns a house, she bought a house a year or two ago. Let's look at the long-term effects of purchasing a home. You know, you rent a house, let's say you rent a house for 5 years. After you rent the house 5 years, what do you get from that? Nothing. You basically thank you for making this payment for the past 5 years. But if you own a house and you've been paying that mortgage for the past 5 years, you've built equity.
Correct.
So now, as we talked about in another video, you can take the equity out of your home and you can go buy a new car. You can go get improvements to your home to make the value go up. You can do things, pay off some bills if you need to. You can do things. Now, if you're renting, you can't do that. No. You can't, like, they're not giving you any money. They can, because you helped them. You've helped them out. So I would say that's the biggest thing. Like, if you can get into a home, get into that soon as possible, because prices are not coming down. Yeah. I was doing some research the other day, and I think over the past, since 1945, I think it was, we've only had two time spans where prices have came down. It's during the bubble back in 08, which will probably never ever happen again, because I don't know, I wasn't in the market, but I just heard it was some stuff going on that shouldn't happen.
And we don't want it to go back there.
We're not going back there. So I think those are the only two time spans. I think back in the late 70s, prices came down, but ever since then, prices still been going up. So hell, my house I bought in 17 has almost doubled in price since then. So you better buy the house now.
Better buy the house now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I guess last question.
Yes.
What is your favorite side of town in Jacksonville?
Ooh, that's a great question. My favorite side of town.
Or where
based
would you buy
on
again?
What? See, I don't know, because I got a wife, so I got to kind of like take that into consideration. Like, I can't just say what I want.
Okay, or where would you?
Because we have to agree. So we've talked about, we have to agree. So we've talked about, you know, buying something in Mandarin, maybe Bay Meadows, South Side area, just because we like that side of town because it's centrally located. Yeah. You know, you can get to the beach in 15, 20 minutes. You can get to St. Augustine in 15, 20 minutes. You can get downtown in 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. So we really wanted something that would be more centrally located. You know, we love the house we live on on the north side. It's just that we're so far north, we're almost to Georgia. Right. And so we feel like we're far away from everything. But we feel like the South Side and the Bay Meadows area, all that little jumbled area right there kind of gives us that option to be 15, 20 minutes away from everything. I mean, you're still even 10 minutes away from the town center. Yeah. So that's why we wanted to move. I mean.
All right, I have one more question.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Okay, what would you advise, or do you advise, new construction or pre-existing?
Great question. Now, I will say, as far as a lender is concerned, it kind of hurts you guys as lenders with these new constructions. It really depends. Because if you look at the way houses have been built compared to the way they were built 10, maybe 15, or even 5 years ago, they have really changed the landscape of how houses are built. They put those houses they're trying to fit as much house as they can on the land that they purchased.
Goodbye yard.
So, but then some of the lots are pretty big. You have cul-de-sac lots, but you really have to take consideration that, okay, what's most important to you? You know, do you want to live that close to your neighbor? Do you want to maybe live in a cul-de-sac, or do you want to live in an older home? I mean, this really depends on the person, because we want to live in an older home. Just because, you know, the aesthetics, the different features, the different things that you can't get from a house nowadays. Yeah. And then a lot of homes nowadays are all closely related and closely look the same, so you really couldn't tell the difference from outside looking in. So we wanted something that looked a little bit older, you know, had the nice little whatever. Yeah. You know, the architectural looks different. So yeah, that's what I would say. So it would
be the person's
personality,
vibe and like what they like and stuff like that.
Absolutely, because if you look at different sides of town and you've lived there for a while, Jacksonville is really, really diverse on the housing. Like you really don't see the same type of house house on different sides of town. Like
Right.
if you go to like Avondale and Riverside, those historic homes are Mediterranean look, they're Spanish looking.
Yeah.
Then if you go to the beaches out here, you got the little
Beachy.
bungalows, you got the little duplexes or whatever, you got the small houses.
Yeah.
You may have some big houses, but not too many.
Right.
And then you go to Southside. Some areas you have big houses, some areas you have big land, and then you go down to St. Johns County. It's a totally different ballgame
Totally
because they've built that area up tremendously since I've been here.
Yeah.
So because when I lived here a long
was
time
not
ago,
that.
it was nothing.
It was not bad.
So, I mean, it just really depends on your vibe. I mean, different sides of town have different types of vibe.
That's true. That's true. And I feel like every side of town has different feels. Like you said, like a vibe.
Absolutely.
Like it's
Yes.
like the artsy or the beachy or the high end.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
All right.
I did well, I guess.
So anything else?
No.
No other questions?
No other questions.
So let's ask Shauna one question before we wrap this up.
Okay.
All right. So what's your favorite side of town?
Oh my goodness. My favorite side of town is going to have to be the South Side.
South side.
Yeah.
Why is the South side your favorite side
I
of town?
grew up on the South Side. I don't know any other side. And I'm centrally located, right?
Yeah.
Like that's my thing. I have to be near a Target. So the South Side provides that for me. And like you said, you're 20 minutes away from pretty much everywhere.
Now, please understand with this South Side thing, the only downside to the South Side is prices are even higher on that side of town than anywhere else in Jacksonville. You can get more bang for your buck on the north side,
Right. on the
more
west
bang for your
side.
buck on the west side. But once you start getting to that South Side, the same house you would get, and that was our thing when we bought, we was like, wait a minute, why is this house here so expensive on the South Side? On the north side, it's like, wait a minute, I can get a bigger house, same
Yeah.
price. But here I can only get so much. So, and I'll say this, that has changed a lot because a lot of people disregard the north side. North side
North Side
came a long way.
Came a long way.
Came a long
I was
way.
driving, I was like, wait a minute.
It's came a long way. So I mean, don't disregard the north side because there's a lot of development going on the north side, and there's still a lot of communities out there. So
There's a very nice community on the north side over in like Ocean Way. And it is, if you visit or you're here, it's worth the see because it is very nice and it is very unexpected,
yes,
but it's very nice.
absolutely. Well, that's all I have. Any further questions for me?
No, you did great.
Thank you. So how can they reach out to you as far as lending purposes?
So you can find me on Mortgages by Shauna and Shauna Thompson on Facebook here at Future Home Loans.
Absolutely. So you know who I am. I'm the bearded one. If you have any further questions, comments, or want to talk more, hit us up in the comment section and I'll get back to you. All right. Talk to you soon.
See ya.